Good evening, everybody. Welcome back, Spartan Nation. It's now time to head to Gotham, where we bring in Matt Hladek from the Spun.com. Matt Hladek from the Spun.com. He is the chief and officer over there. He's the editor, he's the publisher, he's all of it, and he's the grand poobah, and we love him. The Spun.com is the best sports aggregate site on the web, and we love it. Let's bring him in. Matt, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. Always good to kick the week off with you guys.
Matt, we're going to talk college football. We're going to talk a lot of college football. What did you learn from the Michigan State-Ohio State game? I told you earlier in the week that I had voted Ohio State number one. I haven't seen anything to change my mind, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Honestly, I did not see anything unexpected. You know, I thought that Ohio State would come out and control the game and win it, win big. Michigan State, you know, obviously knew they'd be motivated. They do have a tendency to come out and play Ohio State tough. But, you know, at the end, Ohio State's talent was going to win out. I knew Michigan State's offense would not be able to score enough on the OSU defense. And basically, you know, that's what happened. I'm not surprised at all by the result. I think I said 27-13 on last week as a prediction, so I was one touchdown short basically on the Buckeyes. Ended up being 34-10, so no real shock there.
Do you think Florida even has a chance against LSU?
You know, I have to say I had Florida as one of the overrated teams in the coach's poll just because I just didn't, going into last week, because I just didn't see them. You know, I still need to see more proof they're a top 10 team. They lose their quarterback. They hadn't had an impressive victory, so and they shut me up. They shut a lot of people up by beating Auburn in the slump. I give them a puncher's chance against LSU just because, hey, it's conference play. You never know what can happen, but I really do think LSU wins that game, and I think LSU is going to be undefeated when it comes time to play Alabama. Second week of November, excuse me.
Totally agree with you. All right, your thoughts. Michigan State, Wisconsin.
Black and blue. It's going to be old school Big Ten football. Two defenses beating up on each other. You know, Michigan State's going to be geared up to stop Jonathan Taylor. I could see a real slugfest. I just don't think Michigan State pulls off the win at Camp Randall. I think Wisconsin, they've done nothing but prove to me since, you know, second or third week of the season that they're the number 2 team in the Big Ten. I think Ohio State's clearly number 1, even though Wisconsin will get a shot at them in a couple of weeks. But I think Wisconsin takes care of business at home on Saturday.
Les Miles already making waves in Kansas. I love it. Tell everybody about it.
I think it's an interesting move. 6 games into his first season, he fires Les Koenig, who was his offensive coordinator, promotes offensive consultant Brett Dearman, who is young coach, thought of as an up-and-comer and like an RPO guru who came from his NAIA alma mater last year as head coach, led them to 50-something points a game. They said Brett Dearman reportedly was instrumental in them putting up 48 points against Boston College. So I like what Les is doing here. Obviously, you always feel bad when a coach gets fired, and assistant coach, head coach, whatever. But when you're in Kansas, you know that you're going to be out-talented when you're playing in the Big 12. You know that you're going to have to do some things schematically that allow you to maybe pull up an upset or two or hang in some games against better teams. And that's why I think it's good to go to a young coach, an innovative coach like Frank Dearman, especially if he can get some things going in the RPO game, get some things going to use some type of deception, you know, some type of way to level the playing field for Kansas. So I like the move by Les Miles.
I just like Les Miles, don't you?
Hey, he makes things fun. He keeps things interesting, and he's always, you know, got people on their toes in college football. And I think that when you look at another thing I want to add, if you look at the issues his offense had at LSU over the back half of his tenure, was a major reason why he lost his job there. So I think by him being proactive here and saying that he wants to fix the offense, he wants to get the offense going as much as possible and take chances on changing things, it could be a good sign for Kansas, considering what happened at the end of Les Miles' tenure at LSU.
Agree. From thespun.com, Matt Halatic. Matt, Florida trolled Auburn with an epic tweet. You got to tell everyone about this. I did not see this till I went to the Spun, and it's hilarious.
Yes, it was after they won 24-13 Saturday. Albert the Gator, who is Florida's mascot, he has an official Twitter account, like everybody these days, and he posted a gif of a roll of toilet paper falling down the stairs. Obvious, troll job, and a joke about the Auburn's tradition of covering the trees up at Toomer's Corner at the big wins. No toilet papering done this weekend. Florida controlled that game from start to finish, basically. And Auburn's now a little bit behind the eight ball with the next couple of weeks and the next month of the season, considering they still have to play LSU, they still have to play Alabama, and they still have to play Georgia.
Okay, now Jake Fromm taunted Florida with Rocky Top. I love Jake Fromm. Again, I would have never known this without the Spun. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Georgia, Tennessee gave Georgia a little bit of a game early on Saturday, and then Georgia pulls away, wins by 29 points. And as Jake Fromm was leaving his media session post game, he could be heard singing good old Rocky Top, ooh, like the song goes, just joking around and obviously trolling the Tennessee crowd, a little bit trolling the Tennessee tradition of Rocky Top. And I have no problem with it. I do think when you think about it, it's got to kill Tennessee fans because that's one of their that's the major tradition they have, and it's a reminder that they're not where they want to be. They're not where they want to be in the SEC. They are firmly behind Florida and Georgia in the SEC.
Huh. All right. I want to ask you about, in your opinion, who do you think is the Heisman frontrunner right now?
It's a fascinating question. I think that the Heisman frontrunner right now, is either I'm going to go. I think there's two guys here. I think it's Jalen Hurts and Tua are 1 and 1A for the Heisman frontrunner. I think that Trevor Lawrence hasn't done enough. He obviously has immense talent, but Clemson's still figuring some things out. And I think that when you look at Joe Burrow, he's had an unbelievable season, and he could maybe vault himself past those guys over the next few weeks. But right now, I think it's Tua and his old teammate Jalen Hurts. They are 1 and 1A, and I think it depends how the season finishes up.
We're talking to Matt Halatic from thespun.com. Matt, I want to stay right here in college football with you, but I want to dig in on something else. The top 25, is there any team there now that you'd say, boy, they're way overrated?
Going off the AP or the coaches?
AP.
Yeah, okay. When I look at the AP right now, I don't have a major problem with with where the rankings are. I think that Florida obviously proved itself. And I think that Penn State right now, I have no problem with them at 10, after the last couple of weeks, blowing out Purdue, blowing out Maryland. So the top 10 looks good to me. In the second 10, I still need to see, that's where things get a little shaky because, I know some teams have to be ranked out of the ACC besides Clemson, and I give all the credit in the world to Dave Clawson and Wake Forest, but I'm not sure if Wake Forest is a top 20 team, even though they deserve to be ranked there right now off their record. Looking at the Pac-12, Oregon seems to be figuring themselves out, but Utah and Arizona State, I'm not sure if that's a conference that has 3 top 20 teams right now. And Michigan at 16, I think that's fine where they should be after beating Iowa. So I don't think they're overrated. But I think you'll learn pretty quickly if they're going to fall towards the back of the top 25 or if they can climb up a few spots over the next few weeks.
Last question from me. I know that he's not undefeated, and I think there are several coaches in this discussion. But I want to talk about some of the best coaches in college football that don't get play. At this point, is it time to start talking about Herm Edwards?
I knew you were going there. I think it is. I will totally admit, when I saw Herm Edwards when he got hired and some of the comments he made and some of the things he was saying. I'm like, man, this could really be a disaster. A guy coming back to college, lifelong NFL guy, basically didn't seem to understand the landscape. And I thought this could really be an epic failure. But you look at what he's done. Has Arizona State the bowl last year. This year, he's got them in the top 20. I think you got to give Herm Edwards a lot of credit. I think he proved a lot of people wrong, myself included. And I think that he showed that, hey, he may be getting older. He may not have had as much college football experience as a lot of other people, but the old guy can still coach some football games. He can still win games.
You look at him, Les Miles, and Mac Brown, and you have to ask yourself, has college football gone a little too young and maybe retired some guys early? Good question, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is something to consider.
He is the one, the only, the great Matt Hladek from thespun.com. Make it one of your favorites. We'll be right back.